Good evening. Welcome to the December 11th Lebanon City Council meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Yes, Mike Kincaid.
Present.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Morris Jones.
Here.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
John Copeland.
Here.
Brent Weed, absent this evening. Sierra Messenger.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have minutes from the last meeting, so we'll take those at our next one. First item of business, I actually need consent from council to take the agenda out of order.
Yes,
Consent?
sir.
Okay. We're going to move to Resolution 2023-35, which is the fiscal plan for the LEAP annexations 19 through 24. So Ben, I'll have you introduce that, please.
Good evening, council. This fiscal plan is related to the various annexations that we introduced to you at the last council meeting. As you recall, we're filling in some holes, so this is not a significant amount of acreage that's being added. There's just a few sites throughout the LEAP area that are being annexed in as part of this process. And so when you look at the fiscal plan, as always, I typically go to the summary chart that's on page 14 that summarizes the additional costs due to the annexations and then also the additional revenue that's expected as a result of those annexations. So if you go to the charts on page 14, you see that primarily what we expect the costs in terms of the annexations to be is associated with street maintenance of the additional mileage of street that's been added, which I believe is just a little over a mile of streets. And so that's what you see here, the cost per mile associated with street maintenance, and the estimate of those costs for the annexed areas is about $300 in 2024, and then it escalates to $338 by 2028. And then the other additional costs would be the additional mileage of street and or acreage associated with police service to those areas, and its primary fuel and repairs to their fleet. So you can see $100 escalating to $112 per year in 2028 for those additional costs associated with the additional mileage of street, for a total of $400 worth of costs in 2024, escalating in 2028 about $450 in costs. And again, this is just associated with the acreage we're adding in these phases 19 through 24. Then if you go down to the second chart on that page, then it's a summary of the net impact. And as you can see, as a result of annexation, there's lag before we would start collecting revenue associated with these annexation areas, which is typical with any annexed territory. You have to go through a January 1 of the effective year, and then it's a year later before you would see any revenue. So you can see in 2024 and 2025, when we start providing services in that area, you can see we've got costs of $400 and $412, so it's a net impact of slightly negative of a few $100s. And then when the revenues start kicking in 2026, we expect additional tax revenue of approximately $4,800. And then because of the additional road mileage, you do get some additional CCD levy increases of $425. So you start seeing a net positive impact of about $4,800 in 2026, escalating to about $5,200 by 2028. And this again is assuming that these properties remain as is. There's no development. They remain as is with their existing assessed values. So you can see by 2026, we're starting to see a net positive of adding these currently primarily vacant parcels to the city. So that's a quick overview of the fiscal plan, kind of the summary of the fiscal plan. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Hey, Ben, you have to have a paper copy with you.
I do.
All right. We're having Wi-Fi issues with Rob, so if you can pass him a copy, that'd be great. While Ben's walking up with that, any questions for Ben concerning the fiscal plan? Again, as we're seeing, it's obviously today it's not significant based on just development and hard to predict on what will happen. So pretty negligible impact from a city standpoint, obviously farmland. So yes, this is resolution 2023-35. So yeah, before we adopt any annexation ordinances, we have to do the fiscal plan for it. So any other questions for Ben before I have Rob read the resolution? Okay, Rob.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Resolution 2023-35 establishes a fiscal plan for the annexation of certain territory within the city of Lebanon. Whereas the areas to be annexed are legally described in Exhibits A and B. Pursuant to Indiana Code, this council is required to adopt a fiscal plan prior to the passage of annexation ordinances 2023-45, 2023-46, 2023-47, 2023-48, 2023-49, and 2023-50. The fiscal plan is attached as Exhibit C, and made part hereof has been prepared and presented to this council. The fiscal plan has been reviewed and complies with the requirements of Indiana Code, and therefore this council hereby approves the fiscal plan and the areas sought to be annexed.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions on the reading of that resolution?
No, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? I would entertain a motion then concerning Resolution 2023-35.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 20.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Morris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is approved. All right, so now I'll return to regularly scheduled business. First item will be ordinance 2023-45. Council to consider the LEAP Phase 20 annexation. It's on second reading.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just do a quick overview of the next six items on your agenda, as they're all LEAP-related annexations, so I'll just go through them all pretty quick. And then Olivia is also here representing the IEDC to have a little, some additional information that you, again, heard at your last meeting, so we'll just give you a quick overview of what you heard last time, just as a reminder, and then we can move forward then with each of the individual annexation ordinance. So hopefully I got my computer programmed. Okay, here we go. So I will just go through the phase 19 through 24 annexation areas. In total, it's a total of 8 parcels and 37 acres in total for all of the annexations together. And I'll just quickly go through. This kind of gives you an idea overall where they're located. Most of them are up in the 65 corridor area, and then there is one out on State Road 32 to the west. So here is phase 20. You can kind of see it. It's just north, it's on Witt Road, just north of 300. It's a single parcel there. Phase 21 is just to the south of 300. They're just west of Witt Road. You can kind of see that identified there in the middle of the screen. Phase 22 is 3 parcels, a total of about 22 acres. Again, you see just east of the interstate 65 and just there on the curve with Witt and I think 370 or 275, right there. Phase 23 then is a single parcel, about a half an acre. It's located just off US 52. And then phase 24 is a single parcel, a little over 6 acres, just north of State Road 32, west of 65. You can see highlighted here. And then the last parcel is phase 19. It's a single parcel, 1.5 acres. It's just north of the Eli Lilly campus, just off of 150 West. These all are 100% voluntary annexations, and all of them except for this phase 19. So phase 20 through 24 come with a positive recommendation from Plan Commission for the LEAP PUD zoning district. And then phase 19 comes with a recommendation from the Plan Commission for the SF zoning district. So that's a real quick recap for you from the last meeting. And Olivia, I don't know if you had anything to add necessarily from the last time. Do you want to? Yeah. Okay. Let me pull your.
Olivia, before you come up, any questions for Ben on that from council?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Lily Rangaswamy, outside counsel for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. And consistent with prior annexations, I'm going to briefly give some additional context to where this round of annexation falls within the larger context of the LEAP district. On the screen is the overall LEAP district concept plan, which again is the same version you all have seen in prior rounds of annexation. This includes parcels that the IEDC currently owns, has under contract, and parcels that the IEDC does not currently have under contract and may not have under contract, although most of these are under IEDC control. After the prior round of annexation, approximately 6,700 acres have been annexed into the city of Lebanon and zoned for the plan unit development. An additional 600 acres have been zoned general industrial use and conveyed to Eli Lilly for their development on the north end of the LEAP district. And today, we are proposing to add approximately 36 acres to the planned unit development comprised of the phases 20 through 24 annexations. As Ben said, with the Phase 19 annexation area, which is immediately north of the Eli Lilly development, this parcel was intentionally excluded from the concept plan, as this parcel was purchased to facilitate the expansion of North Witt Road and County Road 450 North, and we don't anticipate that this parcel will be a part of the LEAP district and believe that default zoning is appropriate. The remaining annexation areas, phases 20 through 24, are gap fillers, and we are proposing that these be added to the PUD. Are there any questions for me at this time?
Any questions for Olivia?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, obviously, we'll kind of run through these fairly quickly. So at some, if there's any public comment concerning ordinance 2023-45 through 50, concerning these annexations, feel free to step forward. This isn't a public hearing. We held that as our last meeting, but again, if there's any additional public comment, we're happy to hear that, so. Okay, seeing none. All right, Rob, if you could read ordinance 2023-45, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We went through this in pretty big detail, it's several pages, so I'll try to hit the highlights here. Whereas the owner of approximately 1.67 acres of land called the LEAP Phase 20 annexation area is petitioned to have its land voluntarily annexed into the city of Lebanon. It consists of one parcel, and it's described in Exhibits A and B. This council finds that 100% of the landowners comprising the LEAP Phase 20 annexation area have signed a voluntary annexation petition to this council. The City of Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission scheduled a meeting on November 20th and forwarded docket 23-84 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 to assign the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development District zoning classification to this area. This council held a public hearing on November 27, 2023. Therefore, this council hereby finds that the LEAP Phase 20 annexation area, generally located on the east side of Interstate 65 on the west side of County Road 150 West and north of County Road 300 North, is depicted in Exhibits A and B, is eligible for annexation into the city. This area meets the contiguity requirements under Indiana law, and again is assigned Council 3 District and shall become a part there immediately upon the effective date of this ordinance. And again, this will have the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development zoning classification.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Any discussion from council?
No, sir.
Would entertain a motion then concerning ordinance 2023-45, LEAP Phase 20 annexation.
Motion, we approve ordinance 2023-45.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is adopted. Thank you, council. Next will be ordinance 2023-46. Council consider LEAP Phase 21 annexation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Ordinance 2023-46 is the LEAP Phase 21 annexation that comprises approximately 5 acres of land that is described in Exhibits A and B. This council finds that 100% of the landowners comprising LEAP Phase 21 annexation area have filed and signed a voluntary petition annexation with this council. The Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission held during its meeting on November 20th, 2023, and forwarded docket 23-85 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 to assign the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development zoning classification for this area. This council held a public hearing on November 27, 2023. Therefore, this council finds as follows, that the LEAP Phase 21 annexation area, generally located again at Interstate 65 west of County Road 150 West, south of County Road 300 North, described in Exhibits A and B, is eligible for annexation into the city and declared annexed into and a part of the city. It satisfies the contiguity requirements under Indiana law, and it will be assigned Council District 3. Again, council finds that the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit zoning classification will be assigned to this annexation area.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Any discussion from council?
Sir.
Okay, would entertain a motion then concerning ordinance 2023-46.
Make a motion to accept ordinance number 2023-46.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Yeah.
Second from Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, council. Next will be ordinance 2023-47. Council to consider LEAP Phase 22 annexation.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 2023-47, LEAP Phase 22 annexation comprises approximately 22.45 acres described in Exhibits A and B that are generally located at, or including adjacent public areas, sorry, it's described in Exhibits A and B. This council also received from the Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission on November 20th, docket 23-86, that was forwarded a vote 8-0 to assign the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit zoning classification for the LEAP Phase 2 annexation area. This council held on November 27th its public hearing. It has adopted its fiscal plan and finds as follows that the LEAP Phase 22 annexation area that's generally located again at Interstate 65, south of County Road 300 North, and bordered on the east by County Road 150 West, described in Exhibits A and B as eligible for annexation and declared annexed into and part of the city of Lebanon. This area satisfies the contiguity requirements under Indiana law and is assigned Council District 3. Again, it's the recommendation of this council, the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development Zoning classification will be assigned to LEAP Phase 22 annexation area.
Rob, further discussion from council?
No, sir.
Okay. Would entertain a motion then concerning LEAP annexation Phase 2, ordinance 2023-47.
I make a motion we approve ordinance number 2023-47.
We have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Thank you, council. Next will be ordinance 2023-48, LEAP Phase 23 annexation.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, this ordinance 2023-48 is the LEAP Phase 23 annexation that comprises approximately 0.46 acres of land described in Exhibits A and B. Again, 100% of landowners comprising this area filed a voluntary annexation petition with this council. The Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission held on its meeting November 20th, 2023, and forwarded docket 23-87 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 to assign the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development Zoning classification for this annexation area. This council held a public hearing on November 27, 2023. It's adopted a fiscal plan, and it finds that the LEAP Phase 23 annexation area described in Exhibits A and B is eligible for annexation and is declared annexed into and a part of the city. It satisfies the contiguity requirements under Indiana law and will be assigned Council District 3, and again, have assigned the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development Zoning classification.
Thank you, Rob. Any discussion from council?
No, sir.
Would entertain a motion.
Make a motion we approve ordinance 2023-48.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, council. Next will be ordinance 2023-49. This is LEAP Phase 24.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, ordinance 2023-49, LEAP Phase 24 annexation consists of 6.24 acres described in Exhibits A and B. This council finds 100% of the landowners comprising this area have signed and filed a voluntary annexation petition with this council. The Lebanon Advisory Plan Commission on November 20th, 2023 forwarded its docket 23-88 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 to assign the LEAP Innovation district plan unit development zoning classification for this area. This council held a public hearing on November 27, 2023, and adopted a fiscal plan, and finds that the LEAP Phase 24 annexation area described in Exhibits A and B is declared annexed into and a part of the city of Lebanon. It satisfies the contiguity requirements under Indiana law and will be assigned Council District 3. And again, that this council finds that the LEAP Innovation District Plan Unit Development zoning classification is assigned to this Phase 24 annexation area.
Thank you, Rob. Any discussion from the council? Would entertain a motion then concerning ordinance 2023-49.
I'd make the motion that we approve ordinance number 2023-49.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Sierra. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, council. And finally here, ordinance 2023-50, LEAP Phase 19 annexation.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Council, ordinance 2023-50, the LEAP Phase 19 annexation area consists of approximately 1.53 acres of land set forth in Exhibits A and B, and again is 100% voluntary annexation that has been filed with this council. The Lebanon Advisory Planning Commission on November 20th, 2023 forwarded its docket 23-89 to this council with a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 to assign the single-family residential zoning classification to this annexation area. On November 27, 2023, this council held a public hearing on this matter. It also adopted a fiscal plan for this area, and this council finds that the LEAP Phase 19 annexation area that's described in Exhibits A and B is eligible for annexation and is declared annexed into and a part of the city of Lebanon. Satisfies the contiguity requirements under Indiana law, and it will have the Council District 3 assigned to it. And again, this LEAP Phase 19 annexation area is assigned single-family residential zoning classification.
Thank you, Rob. Any final comments on this from council? Entertain a motion then concerning ordinance 2023-50.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2023-50.
We have a motion, is there a second? Second from Keith. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, council. And that concludes what I have for old business. Is there anything from council? Okay. New business then. First item up here is resolution 2023-40, City of Lebanon regarding a waiver of noncompliance for Stag Industry Holdings LLC. Rob, this is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, Council. Ms. Copeland's here from Taft if you have any questions or if she would like to address any. But this is a statutory process that I've mentioned in communication with you, whereas Stag Industrial Holdings had previously been approved a tax abatement in 2022, and due to some communication matters with the company and its law firm, it wasn't communicated that there had been an additional tax abatement filed. So what we are asking, or what's been asked by the company, is that this council would approve a waiver of its failure to timely file certain tax abatement documents for the property that's located at 121 North Enterprise. A public hearing is required for it. It's been noticed. Again, Ms. Copeland's here if I said anything incorrectly, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like to say anything.
Yeah, up here would be great. Yep.
Hi, good evening. Beth Copeland. I don't think we're actually related. With Taft Law at 1 Indiana Square of downtown Indianapolis. Yes, Rob is correct. So this particular Stag Industrial first received an abatement back in 2013, a real property abatement, 10 years, which should actually be rolling off. It requested a second real property tax abatement and also a personal property tax abatement in 2022. It was under the assumption that those were being rolled in with the original one in 2013. So when it submitted its CF CF1 form for the original abatement from 2023, it was under the assumption that that was including all 3 of the abatements. And it wasn't until the county assessor pointed out that that was factually incorrect that our client reached out and asked us to file the CF1 form for the 2 abatements that were approved in 2022. So a waiver of noncompliance, it's a statutory mechanism that's used, unfortunately more common than I think most companies would prefer, when proper paperwork is not filed by May 15th. So it's basically saying that the company is in compliance with every other requirement under which you authorized the abatement, except for the fact that it did not timely file the documentation by May 15th.
Any questions? I will say this does happen from time to time. Clerical mistakes happen. That's why I usually have to hire a lawyer to straighten some things out for them. But again, they still did pay their taxes, right? So it's not like they were negligent there. So there's no issues there. So just want to clarify that for council and maybe those watching at home too. So any other questions for Ms. Copeland? No. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any discussion, comments from council? There will be a public hearing as well too, before I open that. Okay, at this time then, I will open the public hearing on Resolution 2023-40. If you have any public comment, please come forward, state your name for the record, and keep comments to 3 minutes if possible. Seeing no sudden movements, I will close the public hearing on Resolution 2023-40. You haven't read it yet, have you? Okay, so Rob will have you read it now, please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. Resolution 2023-40, again, is a resolution that would approve a waiver of noncompliance for failure to timely file certain tax abatement documents for the property located at 121 North Enterprise. This council, having previously adopted various resolutions that are set forth in here, declared certain areas comprising approximately 130 acres within Lebanon Business Park and Economic Revitalization Area. And this council took final action, adopted Resolution 95-13 on November 13th, 95, and Resolution 07-07 on July 9th, 2007, confirming the declaratory resolutions and establishing an area. Pursuant to the resolution, the request, Hachette Book Group and Stag Industrial Holdings LLC filed certain papers with this council, and this council adopted Resolution 2022-02 on January 10th, 2022 for, again, the purposes of granting the company certain real property and personal property tax abatements. In accordance with Indiana Code, the company is required to file certain forms that Ms. Copeland indicated, the CF1 and the 322RE, along with its timely filed personal property tax assessment returns. Again, the company filed the tax abatement documents with the Boone County Assessor's Office on July 14, 2023, which was after the May 10th deadline, thereby causing the company to fall out of compliance. So this is, again, a procedural matter that this company, this council, after having been provided due notice and holding a public hearing on today's date, will grant the waiver of noncompliance. So all the terms of the Resolution 2022-02 shall remain in full force and effect, and this council will waive any non-compliance with the requirements for timely filing of the tax abatement documents.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Any further discussion, comments from council? That's been read? No, sir. Okay, would entertain a motion then concerning Resolution 2023-40.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2023-40.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Thank you very much, council. Thank you, Ms. Copeland. Appreciate it. Okay, next will be Resolution 2023-41, which is the First Amendment to the Economic Development Agreement for Hickory Junction, and this is also Rob's.
Okay, council and mayor, thank you. This resolution centers around the Field House project specifically, but the Hickory Junction project. And as those of you who were at the Board of Works here, or meeting earlier, may have heard the updates from Ben that the field house is almost complete. In fact, there are events that are being planned in February. The developer has, like a lot of developers, had a significant increase in cost of construction. Pursuant to the Economic Development Agreement, it is responsible for those costs for the field house, and it has secured additional financing to assist it in completing the project in the amount of $7 million. The bank is going to provide that financing to the developer, and is, in exchange, is going to take a mortgage on the property. As you may recall, last year, in a lot of meetings, one of the collateral that the city was able to obtain is a mortgage and a note that's payable in the amount of $12,600,000. So the Farmers Bank has asked that in order to provide the additional $7 million of financing, it would like to be in first place. So it is asking that the city subordinate its interest into the field house project, which requires a lot of legal documents and intercreditor agreement and some other things if this council would approve it. The mayor and Ben and Kevin and others and I have had several discussions, not only with the parties, but with the legal counsel, to walk through it and to provide assurances to the city that if the city is willing to subordinate its interest in its mortgage, that, again, the developer will be able to satisfy its obligations. The developer has provided, in the amendment to the Economic Development Agreement, some additional considerations. It is looking, there's been some discussions that have even taken place this afternoon that it would consider increasing the amount of the mortgage to the city. Ben or the mayor may know, I think we're looking at the appraised value of the field house maybe in the nature of $40 million. $35 million. So what this means is that if you had a worst-case scenario, which we all hope we don't get there, and the developer would become in default, the bank would trigger a default, and then if that was not cured, then you would have a lawsuit. The city would get named by holding its mortgage, and we would essentially have a foreclosure process. If you roll it all the way out to, again, doomsday, presumably the value of the building is substantial enough that it would satisfy the city's interest in there, and if it went to a foreclosure sale. So this is, because we came before you last year in the financing and the Economic Development Agreement that was approved, this resolution would be authorizing the mayor, with legal input from me and our team, to finalize an amendment to the Economic Development Agreement that would essentially subordinate $7 million to Farmers Bank. We would still have a mortgage on it. We would just be in second position, if that makes any sense.
And I will say too, we also, when this kind of came up, again, we've just seen, of course, with the larger economic impacts we're seeing as a country right now, costs are rapidly changing, especially since we've even began this whole discussion about the Fieldhouse project. And so we did take this opportunity to say, okay, if we're going to do this, we have to have something in return, essentially, right? So we actually did negotiate for potentially a ticket tax, essentially, right? So for every dollar admission, there would be for every admission, there would be $1 that would be coming to the city, as well as from a revenue standpoint. That's been talked about. And then we also wanted to, we had kind of I would say loose agreement. We had a general understanding that when the field house is not in use, especially during the week, most of the traffic is going to be on weekends for these youth sports tournaments. Local nonprofits and such as the different youth sports teams could use the facility, or seniors could use the facility. We actually negotiated with them that there will be a defined time frame, amount of hours per month that if the city requests it with notice, we can have that at no charge to the city, right? So essentially us making sure that this is a community asset, that when available, we can partner with the team at the field house to make sure that the public can access that for free. So those were things we kind of added. Again, we always kind of had a general agreement to that, but we did want to more formalize that, make sure that was clarified in this economic development agreement. So again, the risk of this situation even happening is, I mean, I wouldn't say negligible, because again, the value of the building is significantly more than what we're talking about here. So, but again, we did kind of use this opportunity to say, hey, let's make this an even better deal for the citizens of Lebanon. So that's something that we worked through with them. So obviously, there's still a lot of emails flying around about it. It's not in its total final form yet, but if there's any questions or concerns, I'm happy to answer those. But these are certainly the broad finalized strokes. Now it's just the
I
final.
have a question, Mayor.
Yeah.
Would the Parks Department be the one that go through that, what you said, like during the week for all the different groups?
It certainly could be set up that way. I mean, the economic development agreement doesn't necessarily say which department's going to be
No, I
the.
understand
Yeah,
that,
but theoretically.
coming in here,
Theoretically, yes, we could say, hey, if you want to request time at the field house, you need to work through the Parks Department. We could set that
I
up
think
internally, yeah.
that'd be the best place to go through.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So, yeah, it'd be something like
Right.
that, something like that,
Right.
yep. But that hasn't officially, that's not in this
That's
agreement,
fine,
though.
I
Yeah.
understand that, but that's where I'd like to make sure it goes that way.
Yeah,
There's going to be costs associated with the building being open
Mhm.
for a sports team to go in there. Is the owner of the field house going to have their employees in there?
yes, yeah, so the way so there will always, they'll have regular hours, right? So they won't just open for tournaments, because they will have an open facility, especially the pickleball courts, right? And if you want to go and play basketball. So it's staffed, during their normal operating hours. It's certainly not busy all the time, right? They just really get the bulk of their usage on weekends. But we could make it available to the Boys and Girls Club if they wanted to have the championship basketball game of the season there, things like that. So we could do kind of those special events. I can't remember the exact number of hours per month, but I think it's like 10 hours a month, I think, something like that. So
It's not a lot.
it's not a huge amount, right? But it's certainly, but it formalizes that, right? And again, I will say this too: the team at the field house has been very. I don't think they really felt the need to put it in writing ever before, but it was something that I wanted to make sure that we did have it in writing, because I think they will certainly work with us if there are local users, because that's the point of this, right? And they, of course, want kids to see how great their facility is and want to be able to play in leagues and all those things too. So it benefits them to have the public in there to see it, so.
10 hours per week.
10 hours per week, so up to 40 hours a week, so it's, yeah, so.
So the ticket tax, we get $1 for each ticket?
That is what's.
What would that money be used for?
Well, I guess I would just I know the developer has referred to it at times as a tax. I think what we're looking at is additional revenue really to the city that would be similar to what we approved by this council and other bodies with the city, that they're essentially, it's like through their operating revenue is how it would be additional revenue that would come to the city.
So if the entry is $6 that they would keep, and then it'd be $1 for it. So it's similar to what kind of the agreement I think Noblesville has with Deer Creek or Ruoff or whatever you want to call it, where every ticket there is, so entrance there, they pay it. So yeah, I should have said ticket tax, but, because we also still have to work through, make sure that's still allowed, but, yeah, a local, yeah.
So what are we going to use that money for?
It would be used for the field house, infrastructure, things around it, all of those types of, it could, theoretically, it could be used for anything, but, the idea would be, it would be to support
Parks
the,
Department is going to be
or,
facilitating these things, maybe the money should go to the Parks Department.
I understand that concept, but at some time, we also have a lot of, there's certainly a lot of revenue streams that are here to pay from debt on this, so it's also could be used to pay down that as well, too. So, but, at some level, once it's in place, it could go to where the council wishes it to go, so.
A considerable amount of money.
It absolutely could be.
Say 60,000 people a month.
Yep. It's certainly not insignificant, yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Are you still in talks with them? We don't have anything signed with them, what you've been talking about, do we? You said you talked.
Well, that's what this is. I mean, that's what this economic development agreement is, right? So we're 98% of the way there, right, Rob? I mean, it's more.
Yeah, we have not signed anything. It's all, with talking with the mayor, it's getting this before this council. We've been asked by the developer to get this done in 2023, which not only requires approval from this council, but from the redevelopment commission and then the building corp that were parties to the economic development agreement. So it's not finalized as far as negotiations, but we've been given documents from their bank and have looked at it, and we're trying to carve out and obviously protect the city and all its interests, so.
But it'd be substantially similar to this, right? So it's kind of the final.
So this resolution is just so that they can get first position.
Yes, it allows the bank to become on the first position on the mortgage, yes, yeah, so. Yep, any other questions? Okay. Happy to take if there's any public comment as well. Okay. Motion or further discussion from council?
No, sir.
Motion then?
Make a motion we approve 2023-41.
Yeah, and I would, if I could just add that, again, authorizing the mayor to work with legal counsel to finalize the terms of the amendment. Again, we're very close. You've seen a draft of it, but we're still talking with them.
Approve 2023-41 and on the mayor to complete the negotiation.
Yep. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Yep, thank you. All right, Resolution 2023-41 is adopted. All right, next is Resolution 2023-38, additional appropriation for fire lit vehicle. Chief Batts.
Good evening. These funds will be used to correct a deficit in our vehicle leasing line.
Tanya, do you have this? Yep.
Resolution 2023-38, whereas the City of Lebanon is duly formed municipal corporation, it's the duty and responsibility of the council to maintain fiscal integrity. At times, it becomes necessary to appropriate general funds within the approved budget as contemplated and authorized under Indiana code. It's been determined that it's now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. All additional appropriations require a public hearing of which the council has served proper notice. Resolution 2023-38 is to appropriate funds for fire lit vehicle line. It's in the amount of $16,000.
So I think to provide a little more context too, and Chief, if you want to, feel free, but
No, go ahead.
from my understanding, we traded in a vehicle, so we got the new one, but we haven't received, I think, the proceeds of the resale of that vehicle, so we'll probably get that, we're probably gonna get it after we have to pay the bill, so that's kind of the issue. So it's really just a lag in payments coming back from the trade-in of the vehicle, essentially, is kind of what's causing the misallocation here, so. Any questions from council before I open the public hearing? No, sir. Okay, I'll open the public hearing then on Resolution 2023-38. If you need public comment, please come forward, state your name for the record, and keep your comments to 3 minutes if possible. Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on Resolution 2023-38. Any further discussion from council? No, sir. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2023-38.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Motion second from Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
One final item here before we get to the kind of last items here for the end of the year. Obviously, this is our last meeting of the year, and we do have some outgoing council members, one of which decided to play hooky for his last meeting. But Morris, since this is the last time you'll be joining us on the council for this next term, I just wanted to take a moment. I have these down here. Just wanted to take a moment and recognize all of your hard work for the city over the last years you've been here on the council with us. You've had an interesting path, certainly, being caucused in twice. You know, I don't know if anybody has ever we've seen that before. So, but we certainly appreciate, you know, obviously your time as city council president as well too. I appreciate all the meetings and work we've done together. So, if you want to come up here real quick, I just wanted to present you a key to the city. It says, on behalf of the city of Lebanon, this key is presented to Mr. Morris Jones in recognition of the many years of service, hard work, and dedication presented on this 11th of December, 2023. So just wanted to present this to you. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
That's a key to the executive restaurant, wherever that is.
I'll have to track down Brent somewhere, and unfortunately, Morris, that does not actually work as a key to City Hall, so ceremonial only. I apologize. So
Executive restroom we can't find, right?
yeah, exactly right. So, and again, also before we kind of move on the rest of the meeting, I just want to also express my appreciation to this council over the last 4 years. We certainly have done a lot. I think I echoed this a little bit. I think in the podcast I talked about with Joe, you know, I think these last 4 years have been critical for Lebanon, and I think these next 4 years will be critical as well. So these are certainly not, you know, I know these have not always been easy discussions. Certainly a lot of pressure and different opinions, but I've always appreciated the ability of this council to work together. You know, we all had come with different views, different perspectives, but I think we've all found a way to benefit the city of Lebanon and its residents and help set the stage for where I think, you know, this whole community believes we have a really bright future ahead of us. So from the bottom of my heart, it's been a joy working with all of you. I appreciate all of the late nights. I know that some of those council meetings certainly go longer sometimes than they are maybe intended. I appreciate the willingness to work with us and all the city staff. I know they would echo my comments as well. So feel blessed to work with all of you and appreciate the different talents and skills you all bring that makes this whole thing work. So again, just deeply appreciative and looking forward to continue working with you, but also I appreciate it as well too. So
I'd like to make one final comment too.
Sure, go ahead, Mike.
Second everything you said.
Thank you.
And I appreciate being the president of the council this year and look forward to the next meeting where we will vote on the next president and vice president of the council. But I've enjoyed the process.
Any final comments from anyone else?
I do appreciate, you know, serving on the council. I have a servant's heart, been in the city for about 30 years now, so appreciate all that you've welcomed me here in the council, make good friends. Mayor, appreciate your openness and listening to things. Also appreciate the fact that if we have questions, you gave us the information we needed, so we can make a decision, which I think is good. Tanya, good with the numbers. You taught me a few things about budgets, and I think we're also learning about that. So I appreciate everybody's willingness to help me out. And also, I think we come through a pretty good time, and the city looks pretty good. I'm just proud of what I was able to contribute.
Thank you, Morris. Well said. All right. With that, would entertain a motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion, we pay the claims.
Motion to pay the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second from Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And Morris, would you do the honor and make a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. Motion and second from John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Our next city council meeting, I have to find the date here, will be January 8th at 7:15 p.m. Want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2024. We are adjourned.
Do we have a swearing date?